my name is Anant and I welcome you to this edition of 22 Yards. As I am recording this video, the second T20I between India and Bangladesh is being played in Firozshah Kotla, Delhi. It is another low, slow wicket and Delhi is quite a horrible stadium. However, Bangladesh seem to be ascendant for now as they have just dismissed Kuldeep Yadav, and at the last I saw the score was 41 for 3. So Bangladesh are putting up a spirited performance and their bowler Tanzim Ahmed was bowling with a great deal of pace and verve. So I think this is going to be a competitive match. Today I want to speak to you about the recently concluded test series between India and Bangladesh and what my takeaways from that were. So after seeing the second test that was played in Kanpur between India and Bangladesh, I am reminded of a Urdu couplet which says, "Manzil उन्हीं को मिलती है जिनके हौसलों में जान होती है, पंख से कुछ नहीं होता, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है।" तो मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि रोहित शर्मा और उनकी टीम के हौसले अभी बुलंद हैं, उनकी परवाज़ ऊंची है, लंबी है और बहुत दमदार भी है, और वो बिना किसी डर के या बिल्कुल निडर होकर क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं और जीतने के लिए खेल रहे हैं. There is a saying in English that fear multiplies faster than rabbits. And if you are fearless, you can really perform to your full potential. Rohit Sharma is now a man in control. He's a solid captain. He's playing selflessly and he is setting the agenda for the team, and that agenda is to win at all costs. The fear of loss has been completely given up. So there is no fear of loss in this Indian team. And this has to be a historic test match. The first day, the game was only possible for a session and something. The second and third day were completely lost to rain. I thought that the only result that was possible was going to be a draw, a boring, dull draw and meaningless cricket of 2 days. Instead, what we witnessed was completely scintillating. India not only dismissed Bangladesh twice in 2 days, they, on their way to almost 300 runs, made the record for scoring the fastest 50, the fastest 100, 150, 200 and 250 runs. It was an unbelievable performance and they won a test with a session remaining. So practically they were able to win a game in 6 sessions, and it was just a remarkable performance by the Indian team. I do feel that the right term for this win would be that India did baseball Bangladesh. Why I have refrained from calling it row ball or punt ball, the reason for that is that what is baseball? Baseball is really playing attacking cricket. By entire team gets aligned to one goal, and that is to win. And you tend to maximize the outcome of every ball, and you play fearlessly, you play aggressively, whatever be the situation. And when it comes off, it looks glorious, it looks splendid. And sometimes when it does not, you can end up looking like a fool. But this is the first performance that I have seen from an Indian team for a very long time, where the entire team was aligned to one goal, and that was to score quick runs and to dismiss Bangladesh twice. Every player played in a manner which was very aggressive, and they tried to forward the team's goal of a win. It was a collective performance, and really the credit for this has to go to Rohit Sharma. Bangladesh came to India with a very good reputation. They were supposed to have a well-rounded bowling attack, very competent batsmen, and the fact that they had beaten Pakistan in Pakistan, and more specifically in the second test when they were down 26 for 6, and from that position they were able to pick themselves up and beat Pakistan, was really one of the great wins in test cricket. And it was correctly thought initially that they will be able to present a good challenge to India, since they had spinners, they had fast bowlers, as well as they had batsmen who were used to the subcontinental conditions. Initially, they did challenge India. They had India tottering at 144 for 6 in Chennai in their first innings. But once Jadeja and Ashwin added almost 195 runs together and were able to rescue India from that position Somehow the Bangladesh team broke and Indian team became more and more ascendant, which culminated into first the loss for Bangladesh in Chennai, and more importantly, the completely stunning loss in the second test match in Kanpur. So I still believe that, had they been able to dismiss either Ashwin or Jadeja in the first test match before they stitched up a large partnership, they may have been competitive, they would have had more confidence, but they seem to be a shattered side after that. My other take is that it was really good to see Kanpur as a venue, and the game was very well attended. The reason for that is that Kanpur is an old venue. It has had test cricket before the advent of one-day cricket and T20 cricket. Some of the great test matches have been played there. Jassu Patel got 14 wickets in the historic match against Australia, where India, I think, beat Australia for the first time in a test match in India. So it has a culture of watching test cricket. And I do support the idea that was mooted by Virat Kohli that India should have 5 or 6 good test centers. I think our top 3 test centers should be Chennai, Mumbai and Kolkata. And the next 3 could be Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and then Mohali or Delhi, even though Delhi Stadium is really one of the worst stadiums that any capital city can have. My other take is that I would like to congratulate the curator at Chennai to have prepared a beautiful test match wicket. There's something about the red soil in India. The pitch had bounce and carry, it swung, it seamed, and then from third day onwards, it also spun. And that really provides for exhilarating cricket, because if you apply yourself, then the batsmen are in the game. And if the bowlers bend their back or are able to impart good revolutions on the ball, then spinners are also in the game. So it was one of the more perfect test wickets that was there. Jadeja and Ashwin now, I would think, are, at least in India, at par with Kapil Dev as all-rounders. Ashwin played a remarkable innings. It was counter-attacking. It came in a difficult situation. And he's an old-school player. He is very much like VVS Lakshman. He's a touch player. He's not a power player. He seems to have the gift of timing, and he batted beautifully. And Jadeja was tenacious as ever. So both of them are now, I believe, within India as good all-rounders as Kapil Dev was in his prime. They're not as influential as Kapil Dev, but they're definitely as effective as Kapil Dev as far as cricket in India goes. My other big news for India is that Rishabh Pant is back. Rishabh Pant scored a brilliant 39 or 50 balls in the first innings when India needed it. And then he was at his audacious best when he scored a quick 109. What a comeback for this remarkable cricketer who has enthralled audiences all over the world. As a test batsman today, he is streets and leagues ahead of Dhoni, just as Dhoni is streets and leagues ahead of him in the shorter format of the game. Both of them started as not so great wicket keepers, but then improved their wicket keeping in leaps and bounds. But Rishabh Pant, as a batsman, as a test batsman, he must be, over the last 4 or 5 years, the best Indian batsman that there is. He has batted since 2021. Most of the Indian batsmen in the top order, like Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, KL Rahul, have had 10 to 15% of their average shaved off because of the kind of wickets that have been prepared in India, and then the revenge wickets that we play on when we go outside India. But Rishabh Pant somehow has bucked that trend and has been very consistent. He has already scored 600s. The hundreds he scored in India were also in very tough conditions, whether it be against Bangladesh, but the one especially against England was memorable. Even the first day wicket there was like a fifth day track. And he then, he has scored 159 in Sydney, where he set up an Indian win, even though the game was then rained off. In his debut series, he got 118 oval. Then he goes back and he scores a brilliant 146 of 111 balls in England. And that must be one of the greatest innings ever played in a losing cause. He again goes to South Africa, scores 100, where everyone except for Kohli fails around him. And his 89 is now 89 in Gaba, his 97 in Sydney, both on fifth days of the test match, are really folklore, are the stuff that legends are made of. He is an amazing player. If he continues like this, he's on an inevitable path to greatness. And he has such a sweet demeanor, such an effervescent personality, that he's magnetic. Wherever he goes, he's a crowd puller. So this can only augur well for India, considering that we are going to Australia very soon. So one of our ace players is back to his best, and this will give the Indian team a lot of confidence. Jadeja also now has got to his 300 test wickets. I think he averages close to 37 with the bat. He averages between 23 and 24 with the ball, if I have it right. And there are only two players in the history of the game, that is Imran Khan from Pakistan, the great Pakistani Imran Khan, and the great Australian Keith Miller. Both of them averaged close to 38 with the bat and nearly 23 with the ball. So he is definitely in the conversation to be voted as right now one of the best bowling all-rounders ever to have played the game. And the only reason I would put him behind Imran Khan is that Imran Khan bowled beautifully every time he went abroad also. He did well in England, he did well in West Indies, he won test matches in Australia, in New Zealand. So I think Jadeja, if he has now a very crucial part of his career coming up, where he will be a part of the Indian team in the 5 tests in Australia, and then next year in the 5 tests in England. Against New Zealand at home, I know he will do very well. So this is the time that he should set his mind, and if he gets 20 to 25 wickets in each of those series, he has the chance to go down as the greatest bowling all-rounder to have ever played the game, and that should be a big motivation for him. Bumrah, on the other hand, is marching relentlessly towards greatness. In 2 test matches, he again got 11 wickets. He can swing the ball, he can bowl the outswinger, he can dart the ball back in, he can go round the wicket, take it away from the left-hander, he can again angle the ball back in, he has the short ball, he has a vicious yorker. So the ball is at his command. He is the master of his craft, and he has the completeness that was only there in Wasim Akram, at least of the bowlers that I have seen. And he is actually today more efficient than Wasim Akram. He's striking at below 45 balls a wicket. I think he has a strike rate of 44 balls to a wicket. He's averaging 20.5. I think he has maybe, second or third lowest average ever in 150 years of the game. He has already taken close to 165 test wickets. And with the big season coming up, 3 test matches against New Zealand, 5 test matches in Australia, and another 5 in England, I think if he sets his mind to it, in the next 13 test matches or 14 test matches, he should be easily able to get between 75 and 95 or 100 wickets. And that should really put him as an all-time great. And if he maintains the same strike rate, the same average, he will then start to get into the conversation of being the greatest fast bowler ever. He's that good. He's on that path right now. His strike rate is only, I think, Dale Steyn, Shoaib Akhtar, Waqar Younis, Rabada have a lower strike rate. I know Shane Bond is lower, but his sample size is much smaller. He only played something like 15 or 18 test matches. So he is absolutely on an arc, which hopefully, if he can stay injury-free, we will have an Indian bowler at the top of the tree of fast bowling in world cricket. KL Rahul, on the other hand, was very disappointing in the first test. He only got 16 runs of 50 balls, but he was absolutely in the Kanpur test. I think he got 68 runs of just 43 balls. He is, I think, an amazing player. He's technically proficient. He is a brilliant stroke maker. He has great defense, beautiful pull shot. He is actually visually very easy on the eye. And some people say he has a mental weakness. I think his big mental weakness is that in the interest of the team, he has opened batting on some really horrible wickets, very bowler friendly wickets. And that has led to his average being where it is. He's only averaging 34. And another problem with him has been that he is injury prone. But this is another player who is facing a lot of competition. Pant is back at number 5. So he will push down Rahul at number 6. And Sarfaraz Khan is absolutely a brilliant player, breathing down his neck. So I think Rahul is so capable that he, in the next 10 test matches, should be able to get 4 to 500s now that he's batting at number 6 and he's not opening the innings. That should make him, the baton should then pass to him from Kohli and Rohit Sharma as India's star batsman, and he should be carrying the Indian batting for the next 5 years. I believe he's that good. It's a matter of confidence, and hopefully he will completely fulfill his potential. The one thing that one notices is that there's an immense competition today for places in the Indian team. It is almost unfair. Dhruv Jurel was a match winner against England when they came to India. And Sarfaraz Khan batted aggressively, batted beautifully, and justified the hype around him. And both of them are today warming the benches for no fault of theirs. Just that only 11 players can play, and they are pushing the door hard, and it's difficult for them to get in. So some solution, I guess, has to be found for players, because as India becomes a bigger powerhouse with our population base and with the popularity of cricket, there will be a lot of wasted careers in India. If some kind of solution is not found, maybe you have two sides, or maybe our players are allowed to play for other teams, but there has to be a solution so that the careers of the prime of good players does not get wasted. But this is a discussion for another day. The good news is that Shubman Gill is now batting beautifully. His footwork against spinners, off spinners more specifically, and his ability to step out and lift the ball for a 6 was really a thing of beauty, and of a thing which was you tend to behold in your eyes. He batted so beautifully. He has now got 3 or 400s in the last 5 or 7 test matches, and he is justifying the hype around him. He came and announced himself in cricket in a big way. When we won Gaba, he got a 90, but after that his career tended to meander, as is possible with a young player. But he seems to have found his moorings, and hopefully he will do very well now, and will become a star Indian batsman. And along with Rahul, he will be carrying the Indian batting forward in the years to come. On the other hand, I do feel that Akashdeep is a well-built, quick bowler. He bowls consistently between 135 and 140 kilometers per hour. He tends to get wickets, and I think he has jostled himself to be India's third seamer. He is going to definitely threaten Siraj once Shami is back. Bumrah and Shami are India's top bowlers, but Akashdeep will threaten Siraj, and Siraj really will need to up his game from here. He may get chances ahead of Akashdeep, but not for very long, because Akashdeep is consistently getting wickets. He looks very fit, and he looks pacey. He seems to get wickets, very accurate. He's everything that a third seamer should be. Lastly, I would have to say that I feel sorry for Kuldeep Yadav. I still believe that he is India's best all-condition spinner, and he sits out in test matches, even in India. I think he sits out because he's not as good a batsman as Jadeja and Ashwin. But otherwise, he's a statistical freak. He has a bowling strike rate of 36 or 37. He has a freakishly low strike rate in bowling, even in the T20 and ODI cricket. I think the longer he sits on the bench, the more we will lose or we will chip away his potential. He will not be able to get from him what we want if he plays this irregularly. So one just hopes that he will get better chances, and I think he can be India's biggest strike force along with Bumrah and Shami in Australia. So that's all that I have at the moment, and this is Anand signing off till the next edition for 22 Yards.